Не, беше от същата страна, защото аз съм
Are we live? Yes, we are. All right. Hey guys, how's it going? So thank you so much for coming over, especially the ones that are here in person. Because I mean, in person is in person. It's always better. You get a chance to talk to these guys. You know, we're good friends from years ago now. It's amazing that I have friends from years ago now that I've been here for a while. So this is Yav with his group. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but they are from Ephemera. It's a new company, and they are creating a metaverse world that sounds all very exciting and complicated, and they're gonna need people like you as they grow. Metaverse, obviously, it's something that grows, and it's not like doesn't have a necessarily an end date for the project. And so it would be a great opportunity for everybody to get involved. And so I'll just let them tell you the rest. So, okay.
Awesome. So, the floor is yours. So my name is Yav Bonev. This is my team and my co-founders for the project that we started, Andre and Christo.
Hi guys.
So I represent Animajor Studios, which is a company that I formed 10 years ago. He is from Studio Hora.
Yeah, I'm founder of Studio Hora, an architecture company, which is kind of based between the physical and digital world.
And I've got a marketing company that I've been running for a few years. We've got a team of almost 40 people now, and Tiago invited me to be the COO of Camera.
And the crypto guru.
He's the guy who's going to sell us.
Yeah, he's the guy that talks stuff that we never understand, but we always agree with. So that's important.
He thought us we're going to be rich.
And they create stuff that I will never be able to understand.
So the way this presentation is going to go is we're going to introduce ourselves. First, I'll talk about a bit about my life and about the company that I formed and the things that we did. Then it's going to be his turn, and then we'll talk about our common project. And then in the end, Chris will tell you a bit about the whole crypto industry, the NFT industry, and all the board punks and all that stuff. So I'll start now. You guys can
Yeah, go ahead. Have your time.
Okay, so Where to start? I was born in 1984, and ever since I was a kid, I don't know if you guys can't see this yet. 1 second. You can see the slide now, yeah. So ever since I was a kid, I wanted to pretty much become an inventor. That was my first passion. I'm telling you all this, so it's a bit of a background story on how I got into 3D graphics and 3D animation and everything we did. So it was a bit of a passion of mine to, it's not working well? Just speak up. To just invent stuff and pretty much just play around with electricity. Okay, I think it's working. But then eventually I decided that inventing was probably not a good idea because I got electrocuted quite a few times. So I moved on to other stuff. And there's a few pivotal points in my life that actually really changed a lot of the directions in which I was following. And the first one was Jurassic Park. So you guys are too young to remember this, but in 1992 this movie came out, and I had the pleasure of seeing it with my grandma. I was 8 years old, and I was absolutely blown away by it. I had no idea how they did everything. I had a few theories. One of my theories was that they had miniature models, and they somehow magnified them with a big magnifying glass and took pictures and made it work. I was completely shocked about how they did it. But my number one goal that moment became that I need to find out how graphics are made, how these dinosaurs became alive. So this was in 1992, and then at one point I went to live in England, in London, and I came across this little software called TrueSpace. So this was somewhere in 1998 or 99. It was a really basic piece of 3D software that came free with a magazine for a 30-day trial or whatever. So I downloaded it and I just started playing around. And then I started to understand what 3D modeling means, what 3D models are. I think I was about 12 or 13 years old at the time, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So the whole mystery behind Jurassic Park slowly began to unravel, and I began to understand how everything works. And at one point, when I was 14, I decided I need to upgrade myself to another software. So this is 3D Studio Max, as you guys all know it. This is the first version which I started. It's R2.5. So it was, from my imagination, it was the minute I get this software, I was going to make the same dinosaurs just like Spielberg did in 1992. But it took me 2 weeks to figure out how to make a sphere. So yeah, I realized it's not going to be so easy. It was complete Chinese language. I had no idea what everything was happening. There was no YouTube. There was no tutorials. So it was just me for 2 years clicking every single button, trying to understand what it does. And then slowly, I was connecting the pieces until I began to understand it better. Eventually, I went to university in London, and I graduated from classical animation and 3D animation. And when I came back to Bulgaria in 2006, I had an idea of doing animations for award-winning producers and to become famous and all that, and I saved some money. But of course, I spent everything in one summer. So then I got a job offer to do architecture visualizations for an up-and-coming designer here in Bulgaria. So these are some projects that we did. It was all Java. I hated it. It was horrible. So for a year and a half, I was working at the age of 21. I was earning quite a good salary, but I was selling myself pretty much to the devil because I was making shit I didn't like. I really hated it. So at one point I stopped and I left Bulgaria. I went to St. Martin. It's a small island in the Caribbean. And I decided to do a little competition. This is a website called CGU Society. So they had a competition to create a 3D model of a character from Star Wars. So I decided to, because I had all this experience with creating visualizations for architecture, and I never did any organic modeling. I wanted to do something that's more creative. So I took part of this competition, and in 4 weeks I came up with this. So this is General Grievous. This is pretty much the character that I chose. I modeled him from scratch and rendered him and textured him. Everything was from absolute zero. I had no reference. I was watching the DVDs frame by frame at a really bad resolution. It was all blurry because of the motion blur. But I took out little pieces here and there, and I began to understand how this guy is made, how it's created. So eventually I came up with this, and I won the competition. So that was pretty good high point in my life. And I began to believe in myself that I can actually do stuff other than Java clubs. So yeah, this was a good high point. And then Then I went to New Zealand, lived there for 3 years until 2009. I worked for a company there. I didn't have any time to put in the stuff that we did there, but we did more architecture visualizations. We did some other stuff as well. And then I came back in 2010 in Bulgaria because New Zealand was hit pretty bad by the downturn of the economy, so I got made redundant. It was the company was 4 people, so it became 3 without me, and I couldn't find another job, so I came back to Bulgaria. And it turns out it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I formed my own studio called Animajor Studios. And the way it was formed is quite a funny story, actually. Let's see if this video is going to play. Okay, it's playing. Right, so this guy is actually responsible for me forming my company. You'll recognize him, but what you're not seeing right now is actually something else. It's this little thing here at the back. That's a holographic animation of a watch floating in the air, just like Princess Leia in Star Wars. So I randomly saw this on YouTube, and I was completely blown away by it. Not by the guy, because I love the guy. He's an amazing actor. But when I saw that hologram, I knew instantly that I have to do something about that technology and understand it better. So I started researching to. Oh, okay. I started researching to see where did this all come from, and then it turns out it's a company called Real Fiction. So they had the first patent of creating 3D holographic devices. You put a real object inside this pyramid, and then you get a virtual animation on top of it. So it's like augmented reality or holograms. It was just out of this world. This was back in 2010. So what actually happened afterwards is they had a competition, a worldwide competition that they were doing for content creation studios. So I took out a small loan, I got a little computer, and we started creating some animations, just me and a friend of mine who was helping me. And we won second place. So some Japanese guys beat us by 1 point out of 100. I'll never forget that. But yeah, we won second place. That was 2,500 euros. So they called me. They said, how do you want the money? I said, I'll come over to Copenhagen. I'll meet you guys. If you give me the money in person, we'll talk about the future. So I went there. I met the people. I said, you need somebody like me. I'll create animations for your future projects. And they said, that sounds really good. And yeah, we started in 2010, our company. And our first project that we actually did was for a brand called Cosmi Tea. So it's a very famous brand for exclusive teas from St. Petersburg. You see them in a second now. And we decided to pretty much invent all the concepts ourselves. We didn't rely on any production studios or marketing agencies or creative studios to come up with a concept. We invented everything from scratch, and then we did it. So this is a real container of tea, and everything else is virtual. And then we started getting other projects for like McDonald's and McCafe, and things just absolutely blew up from there. We were actually the first company in the world to specialize in creating animations for holographic devices. Nobody else specialized in that. So we had a niche. It was pure luck. It was pure chance. But we got a lot of projects for all the big brands. We started creating, as you can see, the holographic devices, they come in all shapes and forms. And yeah, it was quite a ride. We have over 100 projects completed in the last 10 years with holograms. Eventually, we started doing other stuff as well. But one way or another, I mean, at one point I discovered Oculus, the first VR headset, and the holograms kind of took a back turn. I started getting more inspired into creating game-related content. I wanted to explore what else we can do aside from holograms. So when we got the first Oculus headset, we started making some experiments with the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine for me is the best engine there is right now. We've been working with it for the past 6-7 years. And I'll soon show you some examples that we've done with it. This, as you can see, is just more videos that we've done with holograms for brands like Bulgari and Heineken and stuff like that. Maybe fast forward a little bit. Okay, I can't see the menu. Oh, it's here. It's here, yeah. I'm so stupid. Hey, it wouldn't be funny if we didn't. It wouldn't be funny if we didn't have any technical issues. Okay, so we also explored what we can do with augmented reality. So this was pretty fun. This was we did this for a big shopping mall in Luxembourg. So there was a huge screen, and then we created all these animated characters on top, so kids could see themselves together with characters that didn't exist, like the elephants or the penguins and stuff like that. So this was pre-rendered in V-Ray, but it was a really, really fun project. So we did everything from scratch. We invented the animations and the characters. It was really, really fun. So this is something else that we started doing after holograms. These people here, we shot them in Bulgaria on a green screen, and then this is in Champs-Élysées in Paris, in an exclusive shopping center for a supermarket, and they're overlaid on top of the real people, so it's quite attractive. I think it was a very, very successful project. It was really fun to do as well. But we wanted to, explore further options and see what else we can do aside from that. So at one point, we started doing VR. Now, this is where we truly found a real passion, our true passion. Our first project was for a brand called Vuvkliko. So we created an experience for them, which traveled. This is shown at 7 speed, so you know the fact that it's really fast. But it's an 8-minute experience where you travel around the vineyards of the Rennes region in Champagne, and a voiceover is telling you about all the grapes. So we went there for 4 days. We shot everything, as much reference material as we can, and then we actually recreated everything in the Unreal Engine. And people were able to put on the headset and feel like they're really there and actually ride the bicycle. So they control their speed. So we did a little experience like that. This was a six-month project. It was pretty crazy. There was lots of problems with it, but we eventually got it done, and it traveled the whole of UK and France in different exhibits. So this was pretty fun as well. Then we started doing some experiments, internal experiments. We actually built a scale replica of a segment of a crane. So you put on the headset and you immediately...
That freaked me out.
Yeah, he tried
I
it.
was like, almost took my guts out.
Yeah. It's pity I don't have any videos of people's reactions, but something like 100 people went on that, and there was a lot of vomit everywhere. It was horrible. But so the experience is that you're on a crane, and a chopper comes up, picks you up, and then it just starts flying through the city. I don't know. It was just a random idea that I had, and just wanted to get out of my system. So yes, this was pretty fun to do as well. We just wanted to see how much we can push the technology and see what we can do with VR. And just pretty much see how much we can achieve. So yeah, this was 3 years ago. Then since then we've done many other projects. Let me see what else is here in the presentation. I literally don't remember what else we did. Okay, so we also did a cool real estate project for a place called Grand Canyon. They're building in Modest. So we decided to create some flying Vespas from the future. And when you put on the headset, you literally fly through the whole project, including the shopping area and everything. So this was at the Webbit, and we had like 800 people try it. It was quite successful. People really enjoyed it. Again, we tried to make people vomit by making the thing fly from height downwards, but it was quite successful. It was good. And yeah, aside from that, I don't know if I can load my website to show you. Is it possible to load the website here?
I don't know.
Can I load my website? Aside from this presentation, I just want to quickly show some of the latest stuff that we've done. And then I'll give my spot to Andy. If it's too hard for you, it's not. I think you just have to put a Chrome there, maybe. Просто сложим един Chrome тук.
Чакай се.
Това го не мезнеш.
Искаш да ти отворя.
И да сложиш Chrome, който го драгне до тук. Не трябва да го драгнеш тук. Не този прозорец, някой друг контролен.
Чакай. Чакай.
Why don't you do it?
Commercial time.
So, just to quickly show you our website and things that we've done. Let's see if this is not full screen yet. So we actually built with Jockey Media. We built Bulgaria's first virtual production studio, which looks a bit like this. So this is the newest technology, the newest trend, that instead of actually people shooting on a green screen, they just shoot on a giant real screen. This was a 20-meter by 6-meter LED wall where we built a cyberpunk city, and it was connected to the camera. So when the camera moves, the perspective shifts, and whatever the camera sees afterwards, it looks exactly like it's there. So this latest tech came from the Mandalorian TV series, and it became a huge hit. And we actually built this in Bulgaria last year in January. So we shot quite a few things with it, including, again, it's Chauga. But I guess he's chasing me through history. This is another project we did for the opening ceremony for the world's biggest cricket tournament in Pakistan. So it was using the same technology, and we had a month to create a 20-minute animation with robots and everything. It was ridiculous. We didn't sleep for 2 weeks, but it was fun. It was great. I'll never do it again. But we learned quite a few things. This is the Chauga clip I was telling you again. Everything. This is the Bulgaria's first 8K Chauga clip. So it's 8K shot. Nobody cared about that.
You can give them so much to Chauga.
Yeah. So these are a few samples of a few environments that we've built in the Unreal engine, things that we just experimented with. There's many projects that I haven't talked about yet because we don't have all the time in the world, but we've done quite a few things with those environments. And you've seen the holograms. And here we have a VR game that we did. It was a concept. It hasn't been finished, but it was supposed to be an experience where you're a wounded soldier and your mech comes to save you and picks you up and puts him inside the cockpit. So yeah, I mean, we've done quite a few things. It's been a crazy ride, but now we're moving on to something much more exciting, which is the metaverse, and we'll talk about it later. But this is for me for now, and I'll give my word to Andy. Well, thank you.
We just somehow have to go back to the presentation here.
I'll go back to the presentation for you. The thing is this button.
Yeah. So, hello everybody. My name is Andrew Kevich. I'm an architect, and since Yav gave you so much information about background and biography, I'm gonna skip a little bit of that part because, anyways, you guys are not architecture students, so probably it's not gonna be interesting for you. But I'm gonna go straight to a story that I want to share with you. Now, in general, in my profession, I've always liked to see myself as this role of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Throughout the daytime, you're like a Dr. Jekyll because you work on normal architectural projects like physical buildings. But then in the nighttime, you dive into your research and you go and you study the digital and you see what can you find in the digital and where you can see those two worlds colliding. Because I've always had this problem with architecture that it always references yesterday. It's like every project is always referenced to something that already has happened. So eventually I really got bored out of that idea. The story which I'm going to tell you today about the project is something that happened when I was a student. I used to study in Politecnico di Milano in Italy. And at that time, I had a fantastic professor who, if eventually watches this video, should feel like, hello, Oliviero. He gave us this really interesting task. It was to design a museum for the future, which was really a provocative idea because you never know what's going to be the future. It's really hypothetical. So like most of my colleagues at the university, I was, okay, let's start designing. So everybody started drawing those super extravagant shapes and crazy building designs. So he was always like, no, that's not good. Go back. Doesn't work. And eventually most of my colleagues, they were like, they just didn't go along. They couldn't go on with the semester. He probably liked me because every time he told me it doesn't work, I was coming up with a new concept. And eventually I drew my nerves so badly. I mean, I really had a couple of meltdowns. And eventually came with a very, very, very crazy idea for which I'm going to tell you about. And the idea begins with how I see architecture. For me, architecture and art in general is a mirror. And that is a subjective mirror that reflects the contemporary philosophical, the contemporary technological, and the contemporary social condition. Normally, I like to give examples with, go to the next one.
Try now.
Go next one, yeah. With what happens, for example, with Middle Ages, you have like this very divided society that is ruled by church and so on, and by the kingdoms. And that same thing happens to buildings. You got those huge castles and cathedrals. So you see how the architecture reflects the conditions of society, and that's really directly implemented. So I was like, okay, a museum for the future. Now, then I should probably study a generation for the future. And since we were at that time a condition of 7.6 billion people, that provided me with 50% of people that had access to internet. So I was like, okay, in that situation, what would be truly valuable? And the issue that I found valuable was the rise of immaterial production, because most of what we create eventually is immaterial. Most of it remains in the digital world and rarely gets physical. And then my idea was like, okay, so how can we push that further? What if we think of immaterial spaces? And I was like, okay, well, there are many examples of immaterial spaces. We can go to a street light and it emits lights. So practically when you see the light and you're surrounded by it, you feel safety. So eventually you would choose the pathway that you have street light rather than the dark alley. So I was like, okay, let's push that further. Let's think of an immaterial building. And I said to myself, what are the basic principles? Why should you have a building that is immaterial? What do you need to have in it? So I was like, okay, probably it should have a function. It should do something. It should provide you with some privacy. If you guys are speaking in the next room, I shouldn't hear you. It should give you some sort of comfort. So, here it's warm outside, it's cold, and it should provide you with shelter. When it rains, it shouldn't rain on top of your head. So I was saying to myself at that time, okay, if I can manage to somehow synchronize this and find devices that can produce that, probably I can qualify for an immaterial building. And that brought me to the idea of the Invisible Museum. It's a concept for a museum that would be located in a public park in Istanbul. And since I wanted to maintain the sense of the park, I didn't want to build a building as the way it is. I installed devices that would produce each of those layers and it would function together. In order to provide comfort, would create a system that would generate a microclimate, an artificial microclimate with inlets and outlets, in order to provide practically shelter. You would be. I found this fantastic creation that was at the time in a website called Kickstarter, which was for an air umbrella. It was such a terrible idea because first, the battery wouldn't last long, and second, it's not really nice to create a huge airstream around your head next to other people. But practically it worked like this. You have a huge ventilator on top, it sucks air from below, pushes it, and that repels the rain. So I was like, okay, what would an architect do in that situation? So I scaled it 10 times and I put it like a huge pillar, so that would create this idea of a air-generated roof. And the last layer, which was supposed to be function, was the augmented reality. At the time, Google had just released Google Glass. That was back in 2013. So I was like, okay, if these guys are telling me that I can visualize an object, then why wouldn't I be able to visualize a wall, eventually a room, and maybe somehow a system in between all those two? So these layers would be linked together within that layer of augmented reality. And then by superimposing them, it would be like an orchestra that interacts, thus creating a building that would appear and disappear when it is active and inactive. It would grow when there are more people coming there, and it would shrink when there is less people there. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this project and I'm telling you this story is that once this project was finished, first, it completely changed my understanding of architecture, because at one moment I realized that the world is producing so many buildings that are completely obsolete and shouldn't be built in reality, and that there is a process of evolution of what buildings should be really built physically, or what can remain digital. And second, that it is possible to create a building that would interact between us as architects and the users that are visiting them, which is something that would completely transform the process in which architecture is happening. And eventually, it was probably 2 months after this project was finished, I entered for the first time in my life an architecture competition. And since architects are famous for their small egos, I decided that I would go for a global competition. And somehow I won. I won the first award, which was for the category of public buildings. And it was a really shocking moment because at the time I was a student in my dorm, and I see my name next to Bjarke Ingels and some of the most famous architects at this moment. And it was a very crazy moment in which I realized that actually it was possible. It was possible to make a difference and to stand out from the crowd. You just have to ask the question, why am I doing the things that I'm doing, and eventually go and dive deeper. So the reason why I'm also showing you this project is because we need that way of thinking when we're designing the metaverse and when we're going through that topic. We need to realize that we are creating a new world with new rules, and we are responsible for that world. We are responsible for what's happening in it. And as scary as it sounds in the first place, that shouldn't block us from realizing that we need to open our mind. It was exactly 2014 when Daft Punk released their last album, and there was this brilliant song with Giovanni Giorgio Moroder, which said that you have to free your mind of what is supposed to be correct in order to create. And I've had this thought every day in my life while working since that moment. And we need to keep that mentality when we go on further developing our projects and concepts for the metaverse. And since we started speaking about the metaverse, and you can join me in that discussion, what is the metaverse for you guys?
It's a good question.
It's a new world, right? It's a digital world where we'll be able to just live another life, maybe, I don't know. We haven't seen it yet. And there's a lot of projects entering in it. It's connected to crypto, as we all checked out already. And so everything could exist in there, including yourselves. So
Your alter egos.
Yeah, this is the metaverse for me.
Okay. Somebody else?
Well, I think it's something that needs to be controlled from now, not in the future. Otherwise, people can lose it very fast once it's
When it expands. Once it
Yeah.
expands.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you watched Ready Player One?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no point of us showing the video again.
No, there is no point. There is one very big flaw in Ready Player One, and that is a very big difference from the way we see the metaverse. In Ready Player One, there is one big company that controls the metaverse. There is
The Oasis, yeah.
this big corporation that is behind it. Now, when you say that it has to be controlled, I completely agree. But then, who has to control it is the real question. If you have a centralized system, one governmental body controls it. And this is the fundamental difference between what metaverse was as a concept and what we imagine it should be. That's why we're not so happy when the first release by Facebook or Meta,
we hate that guy.
code was presented, because it just sounded like the new centralized version of where we're going to put our data, spend our money, share our
And
meetings,
replace our life,
and so on and so on.
which we want to do.
The true beauty behind this possibility is blockchain and the possibility to create decentralized societies. Because, as you said, the metaverse is a world, but actually it's not just one world. The point of the metaverse is to be a combination of worlds, different places that belong to their users, places where people can meet and interact through that. We agree with that, but it shouldn't be owned by a big company, by a single big company. And that is a very big difference between what you have said about Unreal and what, for example, Facebook showed us. The fact that they're providing, yes, they are providing the engine, but they're telling us, guys, create those worlds.
Be the creators, yeah.
We don't want to own those worlds. We don't want to do that. We have our platform. If people want to join our platform, that's okay. But they're inviting us to create a variety of worlds that belong to their users. And that is a very fundamental difference. And that is something that we strive for. Yeah. So eventually, now you got the explanation. The metaverse is a centralized network, 3 virtual worlds, blah, 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 blah. Digital economy backed by blockchain technology that makes it possible. Possible. So, going back to Architecture 101, we were wondering what would be the concept of this place that we want to create. How can we convey a message? How can we try to create a legacy? How can we try to give strong energy to the place that we want to create?
And better graphics.
Yeah, and graphics. So we came across one of my most favorite inventors, who is Richard Buckminster-Fuller. And in one of his books, he comes with the concept called ephemeralization. which is the ability of technology to allow us to do more and more with less and less, until we can do everything out of nothing. And super inspired by this idea, because we realized that's practically what we're doing and we're hoping to do, we decided to call the project Ephemera. Now, what is Ephemera? What is our metaverse? As a starting point, it is a platform. It has to be a platform for interaction. It has to be a platform where digital artists can present their works and can share their works with the users. It is a community, but a community that would be based not on geography or social status, but on interests. It is a message, because one of the strongest messages that we try to convey is the fact that the metaverse is not an alternative to the physical world. We like the physical world. It is an extension of that world. It is a possibility to do things that are not really
And this is in
possible
contrary to Mark Zuckerberg and everything they presented for his version of the metaverse.
Yeah, we're not interested in
Which is
playing
why he got
chess
so much
in
hate.
the
Yeah.
metaverse. That's really irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
Mhm.
So it is something that we will strive to pursue, and it is the fact that we don't want the metaverse to be a replacement of that world. We want it to be a legacy from which we will be proud, a place where we can store our beliefs, and those beliefs can be seen after we're gone eventually, because it will last longer than us. And if you ask me personally, I can't wait to dive myself and create in there the Museum of Conceptual Architecture. But of course, that's just me. Yav here, he's...
I just want to do beautiful visual art. You're the philosopher guy. It's always us bouncing ideas between each other, but you can conceptualize, for the next 100 years. But I just want to do Ready Player One straight away. I want to race through New York and be chased by giants. And
He wants a Lamborghini.
yeah, a fake one will do. Initially, it could be a fake one. That's fine.
I won't say anything.
he's the crypto guy. He's already got a Lamborghini.
Yeah. So you got philosophy, you got visuals, and now Chris can tell you about a little bit about crypto and how that can work and can actually move our...
Come take
Yeah, I'm just really gonna wrap this up, guys. I'm not gonna take long. So basically, I've been doing business for the past 10 years probably, and I've been into the e-com space, and then I moved to tech. And at some point, like 5 years ago, crypto really fascinated me. And if you've read about it, the most interesting part about crypto is not that there's some coins there that you can make money out of and stuff, but that things are moving really from centralized to decentralized. And this is making such a huge difference that you really have to sit down and think about it. Because now with the Web 3.0, this is taking place, and there are those things, NFTs, that you've probably already heard about. They're called Non-Fungible Tokens, which means they are things that you cannot really replicate. There is a joke going around, can I not go like right-click save as? But no, you cannot. You can actually do it, but it's not going to be your own. This is like owning an art, like a picture from a famous artist or anything else that you bought, but it's like only yours, and there is a way to check that on the blockchain, which is the beauty of it. And everything is super transparent, and this is the first time in the history of humanity where people can directly communicate without a mediator from all across the world. Someone in Indonesia can buy something from you, being here in Bulgaria or whatever, without a mediator, meaning without a marketplace, without a bank, without a platform. Even at some point, maybe we're at the point of using platforms for that, but at some point, literally, he will go to you and he's like, I like that, I want to purchase it from you, and everything happens, and it's recorded on the blockchain, which is, you can follow that, and you can see how the transaction was done, and that you actually own this piece of art, or it could be anything actually. It could be audio file, could be video file, could be a game that you created. It could be turned into an NFT. Everything that is a digital file that could be stored on your computer could actually become an NFT. And this gives freedom to artists like yourself to actually build stuff, and gives you endless opportunities. If before they were like genius people, they were creating stuff and nobody has ever heard about them, it's the opposite of that right now. It gives you all the freedom. You just create something, literally post it on the internet and say, I created that. And if it's really that good, people will see it and somebody will appreciate it, and you're gonna.
And there's a 1% chance that somebody will buy it.
There's a 1% chance that somebody will buy it, but it's good
better than
enough,
both
you know.
fronts.
Even if it doesn't happen the first time you create something, if you create 100 things, I'm pretty sure that some of them are gonna be awesome. So we're here creating the metaverse, changing the world, and we'd really like you to see what we're going to make and possibly be part of it. So
Yeah, so I have
Jeff, you
one
want to
last
say a
thing
few
to
words?
say. I mean, we haven't really talked about the reason why we're here. The main reason is that we need people like you. We have an investment from an investment fund in Holland. We're growing our team right now. We're 10 people. We're growing further. We have our own building, our own office building. We need anything from 3D modelers, from texture artists, from visual artists, from Unreal Engine artists, from concept artists. We need people with ideas.
Game designer.
Game designers,
designers.
yes.
Level designers.
We haven't shown it. We've done quite a few things about our concept, but we're not ready to show anything yet. That's why we haven't shown our version of Metaverse yet, because this is an ongoing thing. It's going to be happening for years and years to come. We literally started a month ago. We've already, as you can see,
started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's more like 2 weeks ago.
but we've started creating environments. We're not making a copy of Ready Player One. We're not making Decentraland. We're making something very different. We're still learning what we're making. We don't even know what we're making 100%. But it's going to be using the Unreal Engine 5. It's going to be beautiful to look at. It's going to be multiplayer, thousands of players. It's future-proof. It's going to be evolving with technology.
It's going to be fun to play.
It'll be fun to play, and it's not just a matter of playing. It's
gonna be fun
you'll be able to go to a virtual world of Riot Games, for example, and check out the latest heroes and their characters there. Or you can go and have a race with your vehicle that you just purchased. I mean, we're still inventing a lot of concepts, but we need people. We need people to help us realize our vision. And our advice to all of you is to look at the Unreal Engine. I mean, you get instant feedback with everything that you do. The Unreal Engine 5 can allow photorealistic results in seconds, and just expand your craft. And also, what we'd like to give in return, if anybody wants to help us in this project, is to analyze everything that you're doing and give you our professional feedback from somebody who's been in the industry for 25 years plus, and we can evolve together and see what it takes us. So the next call or the next talk we're gonna have is, I think, when we're gonna show something that we've done, which will be the launch of our initial platform, which should be in 2-3 months. And then you see our vision. You get hyped more because you see what we've done, because it looks so far it's looking amazing, but we're not ready to show yet. But until then, if we get to know each other better and you guys show me what you've done, that'll be great. So that's it.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that we're going to be going forward with some sort of assignments from ephemera.
Do you want to come here so the microphone?
That's okay. From ephemera, and we're going to be looking. They're going to be looking for internships and juniors in the future. For now, the idea is to learn through getting involved. Now, there will be some sort of I think compensation. You have to kind of figure it out and talk to the people if they pick you, if they choose you. I do not want you to leave the academy. That is number one importance, and we talked about it. I want you to finish your education here, because this is a project that is an ongoing project. It's going to be around for a while, and they will need you eventually. And so we talked about it a lot. I think 99.9% of you grasp the importance of creating a reputation in this school, in learning. So there's those two things you can learn. You can do this in this school. Learn, we're doing what we're teaching you, and build a reputation as somebody that's reliable and is a quick learner and can catch on and stuff. You have an opportunity to do that. You have an opportunity to impress these guys. You have an opportunity to work on something that's real while you continue your studies. And you have an opportunity to get internships and positions, junior positions, as you graduate. And so this is what this whole thing here is about. I think it's a great opportunity. It's a place where you can actually interact at all times. And we will have a point person that works with us. For example, if there's a project, they're going to do a casting based on whoever volunteers. Again, this is nothing that's mandatory as part of the program. It's not. It's an additional thing. If any of you volunteers, for example, I know that you're already talking. You're talking about the next team project for next week, for next year, which is great. If there's usually there's it's a bit like musical chairs. Some people get on it, and then somebody, 2, 3, 4 people are left out. They're like, I don't know what I'm doing here, right? So this is what you're doing then. Okay, that's your project. That's your thing. Or if you have the time and the energy, you can actually do both. You can help out on a team project, and you can help out this initiative. And regardless, I think it's going to be really beneficial for everybody that gets involved. There's no pressure. That's the other thing. I mean, obviously, as I said, this is not mandatory, but there's no pressure, because if you can do it, you can do it. If you cannot do it, you cannot do it. If you get busy, you just communicate with people. There will be a point person. We're already talking to somebody that can work with you guys. She's also an architect, actually, but she does beautiful stuff. She does beautiful digital 3D modeling and Photoshop things. And so she's almost like a teacher, actually. She's a really good teacher, And so she's going to be working with the people, the individuals of you who decide to get involved in the metaverse world.
Yeah. And we have to kind of figure out what kind of briefs we're going to give them. Maybe it could be something that becomes part of the syllabus as well. So like we agreed, these guys, they have to stay here and finish what they started. That's important. So it's just a matter, let's say we have a spaceship to create, a random ship. So we have a little brief with reference and inspiration. And then we get maybe a brainstorming session with everybody and who wants to be part of it.
Exactly.
We discuss
and that's like a window into a step into eventually doing this. So this is not a company that's just coming here, going to use you for making a game and disappear into the future. This is something that's going to stay. This is something that's going to be continuously built. And so you have an opportunity to come in, be on first name basis with everybody there, and just build your reputation there and get involved. Because this is not only happening here, this is happening around. So, okay, cool. This is what we're offering. The rest is you individually communicating with ephemera people and showing them what you can do, showing them your aspirations, your ideas, your work as well, and communicating one-on-one. And when we have a point person, then she's going to be communicating with you and see who's getting involved and who is not. Again, no pressure. As you know very well, we don't give people grades. And so we're not going to give you a different grade if you don't get involved. Totally okay.
I'll give them a grade.
Yeah. You gotta worry about it.
If you're not coming in.
Worry about it. So because, honestly, this is an opportunity for after us, because there's life after ARC. I know it doesn't seem like that, but there's life after ARC. So, all right.
Cool.
That's all. So feel free to, are we done with the presentation?
Yeah, we're done.
So,
Yeah.
Feel free to just mingle and talk to the guys and ask them questions and keep it here until midnight. I don't care.
Oh, don't keep it till midnight.
Last time here, I gave a lecture for 4 hours, so let's clip it.
Yeah. You can give lecture for 12 hours. I know.
No, guys, come on. If you have any questions or if there's anything, we would be happy to hear that.
Shoot.
Okay, the sound of silence. I like that.
We can finish and speak afterwards. No worries.
I think we can just chill.
No,
Chill
we have a question.
normal
We have
chill
a question.
session, like where we just see everybody what they've
We
done
have
and
2
they show.
questions already.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's check if somebody on the chat
No,
has any questions.
shoot, there is questions over there.
Go ahead.
Is there any ways where we could monitor for open positions and internships? Yes, with the condition we're here, we're still at the academy, but besides from the information that we would,
I think it's just through Anthony. Just feel free to ask him. He's updated constantly about everything that's happening.
Not
No,
for me. Come on.
No, because I don't want to interfere with the educational process. So I wouldn't
No,
want to.
we are going to have a point person.
Yeah.
We're going to, in fact, she's dealing with her dad has some health problems right now. And so she couldn't be here, but she will be here. And if it's not her, we'll find somebody else that will have a point person that you guys can talk to and communicate through it. And it's going to be a place, there's a place where they can apply, right? for internship. You have to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
we
We'll
are
figure it out.
close
We'll
to
figure it
being
out.
there.
Yeah. Also, our website's gonna be ready in like 2 to 3 months, so we're gonna have that information.
But they're going to
Sure.
give you the information. So basically, we have a board here. They can give email addresses. You can give information, phone numbers.
Yeah, just send us your stuff. Send us what you've done.
AGNA numbers, all that stuff. So,
ASL.
so you can
Too young to read.
you can communicate with them.
Too
You
young.
can show them the stuff. I honestly, the academy is this is going to be between you and their company, and the projects that we do. Again, we have lessons and we have studies, and that cannot be interrupted. That needs to happen. You know, I don't want to hear, well, I was busy with MFR, so I didn't do my homework. You know, that kind of stuff doesn't do well, right? So, but we will let you communicate with them directly and with the person that we're going to find to be the point person. Understand this is an ongoing project. This is not going to happen.
It's almost a
tomorrow.
research project, you know. It's not like we've been paid by a giant corporation to create this, and then it's going to make money in a year. It's an
And it's going
ongoing
to
research.
be room for people to design characters, the design environments, the model things, and the design ideas in game design as well. And so gamifications. So all that is going to be room for a lot of people. There's going to be things to do for a long, long time, not just now, today, and then they're done. You know, this is like something that they intend to build forever. And so we want to kind of go in slowly, show them what we can do. In fact, even if you move away, get a job somewhere else, you work at, you know, Ubisoft tomorrow, who cares? This is great to have in your portfolio. It's just going to be something that stays there and it's something that you did, as opposed to school projects. You know, school projects are great, but they're school projects. So, yeah.
Cool.
And you never learn as much at school as you do at work, so go ahead.
About the NFTs you were talking about them, things like art commissions that have been around for many, many years. You know, you commission somebody to draw you something and then it's yours. Is that an NFT having been around for so many years, or what's the difference? Because it's still yours, you ordered it, you purchased it, it's on your name.
Yeah, of course. But first of all, before you need to be someone for someone to order something from you. For starters, let's say you're a student now. You might be excellent artist, but nobody has ever heard of you, right? So right now you have a platform, you can upload it and people can purchase directly from you without knowing you, first of all. Second of all, the other thing is about a region limitation before. So in most cases, again, if you're not the most famous person in the world, it's very hard for them to purchase or order something from you because they need to know it, they need to get to you in some way,
Physically.
in order, like physically, or like, you know, you send someone in order to order whatever it is. Right now, this is giving opportunity to many, many artists who are totally unknown, but they're excellent, and gives them a platform.
Okay, because I've seen pretty ugly NFTs.
Oh, there are
99.9%
No,
are
There's pretty ugly
So
NFTs.
it's about marketing.
I would love to show you some good-looking ones.
It's about who you are, honestly. I mean, it's how interesting you are as a person as well. It's not just the artwork. I mean, let's not get confused here. These days, I mean, I've seen some really ugly actual artwork in the galleries. Yeah. So that's not the ugly thing. Is not it's just who you are and what you want to say.
Let me just show
What's the
you a
message?
couple of projects that are one of my favorite
What this
NFTs.
eliminates is the geography element.
Okay.
And popularity element.
And but
You
so
could order digital artwork, that's why.
it really eliminates exactly. So if you're a Bulgarian artist, good luck selling something in New York.
Yeah, it's easier the other way around.
This eliminates things.
Okay.
So. Oh, you just wanted to shut up. No.
Money is me.
Rich is going to give you example probably of some terrible NFTs.
So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite projects. One of them is a 3D project called Crypto Bulls. It's actually created by an Israeli artist and was ordered by a Greek guy, which is interesting. But basically, these are the Crypto Bulls, and they're like awesome, if you ask me. I mean, they're very well made. They're 3Ds, and they have many cool traits to them. And if you go here, you can filter them actually and
They each cost $50,000.
select the legendary ones, and the legendary ones are 101s. These are the most expensive ones.
What's the floor, guys, on this one?
Oh, the floor right now is pretty high, 1.7.
So that's
But
$3,000.
some of them are being sold for like 80 Ethereum, like these legendary ones. The other project I wanted to show you is called, I think it was Atsuki. Atsuki. Nah, it's not that. Atsuki, was it? There you go. So this launched a few days ago, and it's so fucking cool, especially for those who like anime. I mean, I went through this whole collection, and I can say
Did you buy
there's like barely anything that compares to that. And also these images, they don't look alike at all. I mean, in most NFT collections, they're mixed together with different traits. These also have mixed traits, but they're so different from each
They're
other.
very individual, aren't they?
They're super individual. There are like 10,000 of them, and the floor price today was almost 7 Ethereum, which is very high. Yeah. Right now, these are a very hot topic. I wanted to buy some, but I checked the prices, and the ones that I liked were like 25, 40 Ethereum. So I'm like, all right, I'll think about it.
We're planning on launching an NFT collection through Ephemera, but we'll tell that to the people that are going to be part of the company. Not now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's some very good looking NFTs. I mean, there's some very ugly ones as well. But the thing is that right now it's very easy. It's very easy to sell anything, but over time, things that have some implication are going to last. Something that has utilization, and so it's here to stay. All right, guys.
So,
Well, thank
anything
you
else you
for that.
want to
Been
ask
really-
us? Yeah, please.
First, thanks for the talk, guys. And well, since you all have done
Thank you.
It's like in a golf course. Quiet. They won't be able to play afterwards.
since you all have done some like really good stuff in your in the things you do, like how skilled you need the people to be, the people you're gonna work with, you want to work with, what kind of skills and how high you need it.
I think the question is between skill and talent. You might have talent and less skill, or you might have some skill but less talent. So talent is what we're looking for. I mean, for example, Pixar, when they were hiring animators.
What?
Sorry, I totally forgot you were in the room.
No, I mean, here's the thing. They know this is a school. Okay, what they're going to be doing with you guys is still learning for you. This is not like they're not hiring you right now. This is learning. This is going to be something that you're going to get out of a lot.
Because we've been there as well. I mean,
They've done this. This is a company. This is not us. This is not just some teachers come here and do the lecture and expect homework from you. These are the people that are going to get you involved into the real thing, and give you feedback that's actually essential for them. You can't get any more real than that. I mean, this is the real thing. And it's going to be a learning process. So they know that they're talking to a school. They're not talking to a bunch of people that work at Ubisoft. They know that. So,
well, the example I was going to give is that at one point when Pixar were looking for animators, they weren't looking for 3D animators who know the software. They were looking for even people that can draw 2D animators. Then they would teach them to use the software. But the principle is the same. If you can animate in paper, getting the skills to learn Maya, you can animate in Maya. So we're looking for talent. Talent is very important because skills can be learned, can be taught.
We're looking for open minds, for thinking with an open mind. It's not just about drawing beauty. You need to be able to surprise, and that is really difficult to achieve.
Yeah. If somebody can model a good character, I don't need an open mind all the time, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still.
Yeah.
true.
But of course.
But like if somebody has good ideas about gamification, are you kidding? I mean, it's awesome. It's like ideas that
Absolutely.
And again, working in a team and getting the feedback that's real and getting the pointers that's going to teach you how to make it better. I think that's great.
And also in our company, I mean, we're small right now, we're 10 people, but we have brainstorming sessions between all of us. It doesn't matter who you are. We just want everybody's ideas, because sometimes new things are born from a discussion, and it's not like hierarchy. Only the top 3 people can speak about ideas. Everybody else has to just listen. We want everybody to have input, because we might miss something.
Absolutely. I can give you an example. Yav here, he thought that we can present our concept in 1 month. Now, after all the discussions in the office, he knows that we need 3 months.
Yeah. And then it's going to be 6 and 9 and 12. So talent and some skill, of course. But those things can grow. And if we can give our feedback, that could be valuable as well. So
Lots of enthusiasm as well.
Okay.
Something else?
All right. Any other questions, guys?
Where do we sign?
We need a web page.
Yeah,
you
I
can send
think-
us an email.
I guess they're less prepared than I thought they are.
You told me not to hire anybody, man.
No, we've been concentrating on other things.
But he made me
Figuring out the metaverse.
He made me sign like an NDA agreement. I'm not going to hire anybody here, and everybody has to finish their 2 years.
No,
So I'm
didn't-
scared to talk. I don't know what to say to these people.
Just write your email.
I'll write my email. You can delete it afterwards.
No, I know where they live. I can go find them and I'll kill them. So it's totally okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have ephemeral emails soon.
Don't even have emails. Can you imagine?
We don't have any,
No.
We're just scouting. We're scouting. We just want to see where things are going.
But imagine what a bottom floor you're getting on, right? This is the bottom. This is
No, guys, it's pure. It's pure. The moment is really pure. It's really real, and the situation in which we are is amazing, because every day something new comes up. Every day something turns upside down, and this is really a great thing to experience.
And 95% of all metaverse projects in the world right now are horrible. They're purely made for making money and scamming people. So we're going to do exactly that. But better.
So they have a building, they have offices, and they're there during the day. You're here in the evenings and weekends, which is the exact opposite time. So eventually, whoever of you decide to work with them, you can go there during the day, interact, communicate, come here and do your homework. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One last question from me, maybe.
Oh, from you, good.
I mean, no, because I thought that we finished.
I'm joking.
But how similar would be, like, compared to Sandbox or Decentraland, like
Completely
would
different.
be like real life, and I mean Sandbox is pixel art, okay, but
Yeah.
it is like the real.
In terms of visual quality, we're going for as close as possible to stylized realism, which is what was Ready Player One. Obviously, the graphics in Ready Player One are unachievable in real time at the moment, but they will be in 5-10 years, that's for sure. So we're aiming at that, but we're also going to have multiple styles in the universe. It's a universe. You can go into a little portal where suddenly everything is hand-drawn, but it's 3D. You can go to somewhere where it's completely photorealistic. So, but we want to avoid the sandbox theme, the Minecraft, those lower quality metaverse projects. Definitely a no.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, we're really striving to give a little bit of each one of our professional background within it. Because when you take the example of the central app, you go there and it's like everybody do whatever they want, and you can practically feel like all professions have been destroyed. Now the most contemporary museum that I can go to is a Greek temple. Woohoo,
Yeah,
amazing.
it's horrible.
And no, we're not intending to do that. We're intending to provide good content.
And if you go to Second Life, that's another metaverse project which was created like 2006. Everybody just has sex there. That's it. That's all they do. Millions of people just having sex, which is not bad, of course. But you want to have.
That's why we have a purple light district in our metaverse.
Don't tell them about that yet. But yeah, we're exploring everything, and it's a never-ending project. It's a research project as well. We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to constantly evolve, and we just hope we make it good. So we need people like you.
You should be careful. We're live with this.
It's fine. There's only
No,
16 people.
We know what we're doing. If our investors are watching, everything is clear.
Yeah. Out of those 16 people online right now, 15 of them are our investors, our board members. So we should probably cut down and censor some of this stuff.
We're under control of
Yeah.
that situation.
We will make you money next year, we promise. So yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
Yes, okay, from the chat.
Oh, we have a question from the
Oh,
chat.
my
Nice.
God.
Okay, fired. We fired. Yep, expected that.
Do you know any platform where you can promote and search for investments, let's say for your projects, games, metaverse? Promote and search. All right.
Okay,
Well,
then-
to be honest, there's a lot of
Discord.
info on Reddit and Discord and Twitter, but you have to look very, very deep for it. I mean, you have to look for good profiles that share quality information. Don't trust just any profile, and you're gonna find what you're looking for. But I wouldn't say there's like a platform that's so easy.
Okay,
to
so
check for projects like
What's
this.
happening right now is because all the metaverse projects right now are being created by people who are not visionaries, they're not artists, they're business people. So these business people, they see there's a niche and there's people throwing millions at anything that's called metaverse.
Billions.
So billions. So they're searching for artists, they're searching for struggling small games companies who have had a project that hasn't been released in like 3-4 years. And they go there, they meet those people and they say, okay, this project, let's just release it again, but just call it with blockchain and change them and with the metaverse or whatever. And then they inject like $500,000 into it, they use their connections and they blow up the project, they make their own currency, they get 20-30 million and then they just dump all the stock and take the money and leave.
Which is pure speculation.
And then the game doesn't get released anyway. So to answer that question, people are being headhunted. Like artists are being asked every single day, can you do a metaverse project? Can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? But these are just predators. These are people that just want to take your talent quickly and just dispose of it within after they make the first few minutes. That's why all these projects right now, they're not even possible to be created. Like there's a project called Victoria VR. All their art in their website is things from Kit Bash, from Unreal Epic Marketplace. They literally bought some assets and they just put their logo on it and called it their own. That's it. And they've made 20 million already.
My most favorite part about that project is the fact that they're presenting a tower and they're saying that there are restaurants and cafes and there is an open like infinity swimming pool at the rooftop. And I'm like, who the hell does need that? Why the hell?
You'd
do
be
you
surprised.
create that?
People want to live there as
No,
well. But
you need to rethink architecture when you're doing it in the metaverse. You just don't duplicate. We don't mimic. We create.
that's true. But you also have a lot of people who look for what's familiar. And if you have somebody who barely makes ends meet and lives in a 30-square apartment, but he can afford to spend 20% of his salary to live in a mansion in a virtual world, he's going to do it.
There we go, guys. That's how everyday discussion.
So you have to cater to everybody's tastes, but of course we try and do something different and philosophical. My favorite philosopher after Kant.
We need to create legacy and make history.
We will create legacy.
But there will be some kind of economy in the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
The so-called tokenomics, we're working
We
on
want
that.
people to be earning money in our metaverse,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
artists as well.
Including the people that work.
Yeah,
Well, especially those.
especially those. We're gonna have an artist corner, so if you buy a plot of land in our metaverse,
Yeah, we also want to recreate slavery, right?
that's true.
This
A
school does-
modern take.
This school doesn't need that.
Yeah, a modern take. But for example, if you have a parcel and you want to build yourself a house there, you can buy a preset from, let's say, 20 houses that we've built, or you can hire a 3D artist in the virtual artist's corner, street, whatever it's called, and discuss with him how he can build a custom solution just for you. So that we can actually open a new way of freelancers to earn money in the virtual world.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit like those blacksmiths in the role-play games, but for real. Like people are gonna stand behind there, and it's gonna be very cool. I think it's gonna be great if at some point we create this. You can have a car, but then you can equip it with all kinds of parts, and they're created by different artists. And the thing is that you can purchase them,
Like little stickers
and then
stuff.
commission goes to the artist who created the art.
Yeah, it's like affiliate based. So all the artists that work on the platform, we can either split the commission or split the money or whatever. But this hasn't been. There's so many because we're playing God. I mean, we're trying to invent a whole new universe. So there's so many questions that have not been answered yet, and it's an ongoing process. That's why we have the philosophy here.
Don't put virus, please.
There'll be viruses everywhere.
Oh man, you have no idea. We have this developer, and he's all of a sudden in one of the
He's watching
scenarios. One of the scenarios, he put like those cockroaches inside the project, and they were like in different colors. It was crazy.
And when you walk around them, they run away from you.
When you put a flashlight on them, they would
Wow.
run away. It was brilliant.
Nobody asked for that, but he did it anyway.
He did, and he blew our minds off. It
We
was
did,
amazing.
we did appreciate it.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
We can create positive viruses, you know. If we can go the opposite direction, maybe the virus can do something good to you.
So yeah,
Why
more or
not?
less.
Well,
The good thing is we can do anything in the metaverse.
when and if, but I hope when the project is complete, there will certainly be people with malicious intentions.
But the project will never be complete.
It
That's
will
for
never
one.
be.
No, the project will never be complete. It will be upgraded constantly. So it's going to be like a cat and mouse game. Whoever has malicious intents, we'll chase them down, they chase us up, and whatever.
Oh no, for sure, we're gonna take care of that.
But we still have to decide what the rules are. So we don't know what, how decentralized it has to be.
Yeah, that's the issue with decentralization eventually. That you have to see how you are going to manage that. Because if it is pure anarchy, then you don't know who's hidden behind the mask. So decentralization shouldn't mean anarchy.
Somebody had a question there?
How is it going to be regulated?
Yeah, that's
But you have like
It's literally not gonna be regulated. The cool thing about blockchain is that it's regulating itself. So it's very hard to hack. And if somebody hacks it, it's gonna be a one-time thing because we're gonna figure it out and we're gonna stop that. And also, if it's hacked, it's again on the blockchain, so it's gonna be through a user that we see who he is. We can follow through, so we can basically block him off the server. And this is already happening with these NFTs. There are Discord channels, and for example, if you have like 4,000 people on your Discord, 100,000 bots have tried to go on your Discord, and you have to eliminate them. I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of internet. It's just in a different way now, but we have to take care of that. And I hope that at some point we're going to have a whole team to deal with that.
And there might be an automated bot looking for bots as well,
Yeah.
which is the end of the world. When you have to bot.
do bots fighting between each other.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have two questions. The first one is, how would you be able to access this metaverse? Is it through PC? Is it across platform? Is it going to be virtual reality?
Great
And
question.
the second one, which is incredibly important, is there going to be a childhood club in this
I think our Chowder Club
The Chowder
expert
Club has
has-
already been modeled, and it's ready to go.
Of course.
It's actually created, but I'll show you that in a few months. Yeah, right now we're trying to fill it up with people to work in it. Nobody seems to be willing to work for coins for now, unfortunately.
We've hired one person to remove the napkins from it because right now it's just.
Yeah, well, the
flooded.
physics on the napkins are not working very well. They burn always. No, that's a good question. Obviously, for VR, it's impossible right now because VR hardware can't handle this kind of graphics that we want to create. So initially, the platform will be PC Mac based, just like Fortnite. You double click the exe file, and full screen it goes on, and then you go. It's like a game scenario. But then, as the hardware becomes more advanced, it will be ported to other devices like your mobile phone, your tablet, web-based VR headsets. And the idea is that we're constantly going to be evolving and changing that along with the technology. But not everything that we want to create now is possible now anyway. So we're selling a concept, we're selling a proof of concept with which we want to raise funds so we can create this over the years to come. But it will start as just a normal Unreal Engine type of game.
And furthermore, we're filling it. We're filling it with this information that we want to be seen, as for example, the Chowder Club.
Yeah.
And do you think about the virtual room that the people that they don't have these devices can apply? Maybe the poor people, the homeless, or somebody else.
You can be homeless in the metaverse. That's pretty cool.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We actually have a concept about busking. Busking, I don't know if you guys know what the word busking means. It means that you can play the guitar on the street and get money for that because you're a talented musician. So we're thinking of actually having a square where people can show off their skills, whatever they are, and then you can literally, as somebody walking past them, just throw coins at them, and then they can make money that way. So one way of thinking of that is if you have an alter ego avatar, let's say, a small beautiful Chinese girl, and you're a big black guy in real life.
Great.
It's been known to happen.
Great example.
It's been known to happen.
Amazing.
But anyway, let me finish. So the big black guy wants to do a dance, right? So he has a little app, and he has a little cheerleading dance routine, and then the little Chinese girl is doing the same thing, and he can do it in real time because currently there's technology that allows you just from the camera looking at your dance moves, it creates a virtual skeleton and maps it on top of the avatar in real time. So it's like motion capture just with a camera. So you can have people literally working, doing things like that, and just performing, because when you have a game like GTA, the character can only do a certain amount of motion because it's predetermined. You can jump, you can move left, you can move right. But with this, everybody creates their own motion, and you can record it for their own characters. So this is something very exciting that we want to pursue technology.
About that, there comes a problem with catfishers, because in that universe you will be able to socialize with other players. In that way, there would be probably people that would try to scam or pedophiles and stuff.
Yeah.
But how wouldn't it be better for certain places to be like my avatar is based off of me?
Yeah. But this is something we still have to explore. I mean, there's so many things that, just like in real life, you could be targeted. You could be targeted in the metaverse world as well, absolutely. But then we have to explore: do we have police everywhere? Do we have admins that are just watching over? What happens if the admins begin to become the bad guys? There's so many questions that are unanswered, and those answers will be revealed as the project goes along. I mean, we don't have the answers to everything, for sure.
Also, would you be able to, not like in a furry way, but would you be able to become an animal or some kind of a mythical creature?
Oh, absolutely. That's crucial, yeah. You should see my furry little cat. That's my little alter ego as well. Don't. Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to test it? No.
All right.
I was wondering how the metaverse, or is it possible for the metaverse and the real life entertainment, like the old school entertainment, dancing, singing, concerts, musicals, all that stuff, how can they work together so we can support still?
We're creating a concert world right now as we speak. Our designers are creating a rock concert concept. So it's going to be a separate, through a portal you go into a completely different world, which is rock based. And there will be, for example, if there's a rock performer, because we're waiting for some motion capture equipment, we'll be able to record their performance and then just put it on an avatar, and then people could go and witness the concert, just like for Travis Scott in Fortnite.
And we can always do it live at some point. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, something that we're working on right now is to have like a mascot as well that we are actually going to create in the
Our
next
own
few
virtual
months.
avatar, yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to represent our metaverse, so we try to make it fun as well. It's gonna be mostly fun, to be honest.
He doesn't even need an avatar to be fun.
You see him.
True
soon.
story.
Yeah. Bad Toro. His name is Bad Toro.
Bad Toro, yeah. He's actually had a few lectures in the American University in Sofia here,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's actually been here to a few lectures about e-com.
So yeah, I mean, in the future we want to do podcasts, not with ourselves like this, but we want to have our avatars be in the podcast. So we want to be actually present in our metaverse, and then answer all these questions just like as we are now, but virtually in our alter egos.
Eventually, when we launch the alpha version, not everything is going to be ready. So we will be very happy to present the further steps of the project in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very slow, one by one. Every single piece will fit in.
All right. Anyone else?
It's kind of a different question, but how do you guys think that you're going to be able to build the hype so everybody could follow up and just jump into the project?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I'm gonna get that. So yeah, this is my part. I'm working on it right now, and it's pretty complex, to be honest. It's not one thing. There's a lot of directions that we're going to go. But first of all, we are currently hiring community managers, so-called. So basically, they're going to attract people to Discord and more people to see our projects. And afterwards, when we get like people who really love our projects, they're going to start sharing this project. Also, we're going to develop our own Twitter accounts of ourselves as well as our alter egos, so that we have more publicity and popularity and reach. On top of that, we've got some very cool guerrilla marketing ideas. For example, with our first NFT drop that we're doing, it's going to be actually 3D apartments, which is pretty good. We're creating the first apartment generator. So basically, it's going to generate different parts of the room, and it's going to turn them into an NFT. And we're going to create a raffle. So basically people in there are going to go inside. They'll have to go inside. They're going to open a box and they are going to have a number or whatever we put in there. And then there's going to be a raffle. So a few people are going to be able to win an apartment, for example.
Worth $200,000.
Worth in the real world.
That's because of our investors. They've provided physical apartments which can be won.
Yeah. So with
this hasn't been done
with this
before.
kind of marketing, guerrilla
And we have a lot of
marketing
influencer
ideas,
contacts as well.
Yeah,
Who are behind our project. Some of the best in the world, actually.
There's going to be a lot of
And we have a marketing budget, of
influence
course.
marketing involved, but influencers on Twitter right now, everything is happening on Twitter and Discord regarding this niche. So I mean, a little bit of Instagram as well. It's probably Instagram is going to adopt that in the future, but right now it's literally Twitter and Discord.
All right.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
All right, that's it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Go.
How accessible will it be to normal people? Like, I don't have a real computer, I have a laptop, but it's not very.
Okay, so the first version is going to be
It's a computer, but it's not very.
yeah. So the first version is going to be web-based, and we're going to be paying the hosting fees, so we can get more publicity that way, which means they can access it from any type of computer, because the alpha version will run on a separate server in the cloud, which means it doesn't use your computing power. But right now, the technology is following a trend where they're trying to bring GPU power to every single computer. Right now, I think it's something like 12 or 15% of all computers in the world can run high-quality games. The rest are just integrated GPUs, which are shit. But Apple is changing the game with the M1 chip, which has become quite powerful in normal CPU and GPU activity. So we believe in the future, the chips will be getting progressively better and better until everybody has access to the same graphics. So
Okay, web-based.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna be able to access it
in 25 years' time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Cool.
Please, anybody else?
You said it was your last question.
What is going on here?
Last question.
Like the last.
Make it
last-
count.
last-
Make it count.
This is the last one.
Are you concerned about increased energy consumption? Like, I'm not sure about the tech stuff, and is it like mining bitcoins and?
So we're using a platform which is 99% more efficient than mining in Bitcoin, Solana platform.
Yeah.
Which means that we're going to be completely ecological in that sense.
Yeah.
Because when I heard about the metaverse, I thought to myself that this is a very creative way to solve like the consumption problem. You can have thousands of dresses without having concerns that fashion is one of the
Yeah, but then
biggest
everybody's at the home
environment.
virtually and nobody exists in real life, which is exactly what we want to avoid. We want people to be spending time in the metaverse just as much time as they're spending now on the internet, but not extra time, not have that time added to the internet time, which means that you only have physical time 2-3 hours a day, for example. We don't want to replace reality, so we still want people to buy dresses. But yeah, I mean, if we can stop consumerism, if we can reduce consumerism, and that's a very good point that you make. Actually, that could, in a long term, it could actually help society, because instead of having 20 pairs of trainers, you can have 2-3 cool trainers in real life, and then the rest you can just have with your avatar. So that's going to save, sure.
It's not just fashion. As I told you, it's also architecture. Think about all the buildings that are built that are not being completely used, that are not really full. And
Ghost towns
actually
in China. and
rather
everything.
obsolete. They have a short lifespan, approximately 20 years. The lifespan is a really short period. A lot of the shopping malls are witnessing that in some of the Western countries. So there is a lot of segments from different industries that will benefit if you think of it in terms of ecology.
And consumerism, yeah.
And also one more thing, Solana platform is based on proof of stake compared to proof of work, how Bitcoin is. For Bitcoin, you actually need a lot of computational power in order to get the next node and in order to get the next Bitcoin, which creates the energy which people use. But right now with the proof of stake, it's basically, imagine everything is pre-mined upfront. So you put all the coins out, everybody like pre-mine them, and then they stake them. So for example, if you have 1 million coins, I give them to the community, and this uses this already pre-mined power in order to work. which is much more efficient
Guarantee
way.
nobody got what you just said, right?
Did you understand?
I didn't understand anything.
I got lost.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we definitely want to use new technologies that are way more eco than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is pretty bad for.
But it was the first one, It's we have to give him.
Yeah,
Eventually
Give
Bitcoin
him
and
credit.
Ethereum are going to be like gold and silver. They're going to be so rare and so hard to find, so hard to mine.
Yeah, for sure, and they're so useless at the same time.
True that.
I mean, there's such better technology right now, and it's coming up. So.
Cool. All right, that was the last question. So.
Okay, great Q&A, guys. Didn't expect that, to be honest. So, well, talk to you soon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
We
looking.
got our
forward.
stuff here, so just send us an email with what you've done. So we're eager to see how talented you are and what you've created and what you're doing. So yeah, check out what other projects we've done here. Then we'll maybe make a channel with Anthony so we can keep you updated to our project.
Stop involving him. He doesn't want to. He left the room. Anthony left the chat.
Thank you.
What's next?